She married a man who couldn't even open his eyes. Not for love, not for choice, but what happened in that silent hospital room left everyone breathless. Like this video and subscribe to Inspiration Stories Box for real stories that touch the soul. The wedding hall was silent, not the quiet of respect, but the quiet of shame. No music, no laughter, only the soft hum of medical equipment echoing through white walls. The groom lay motionless on a hospital bed, tubes tracing his breath, eyes closed to a world that had moved on without him. And beside him stood the bride, his former fiancé's younger sister, her hands trembling under borrowed bangles, her eyes empty of dreams. Her name was Ariba. Just weeks earlier, she was invisible in her own home, the obedient daughter, the shadow behind her beautiful, ambitious elder sister Sana. Sana was engaged to Hamza, a self-made millionaire known for his generosity and quiet confidence. Their wedding was the talk of the town until the accident. A brutal crash, a coma, doctors uncertain, hope thin as thread. Sana cried for days, then left. "I can't tie my life to a dead man," she said coldly, packing her bags. "I deserve happiness." Their parents panicked. The engagement had come with contracts, shared investments, and promises whispered between powerful families. If Sana walked away, they would lose everything. And so their eyes turned to Ariba, the daughter who never argued, never refused. "You will marry him," her mother said, not meeting her eyes. "It's only on paper. You'll be his wife. We'll protect our honor." Ariba tried to speak. Her voice failed. On the day of the wedding, she stood beside a man who couldn't say her name. When the officiant asked for consent, her family answered for her. When the ring slid onto her finger, it felt heavier than iron. Sana didn't attend, not even a message. That night, Ariba moved into Hamza's silent mansion, now a house of shadows. Nurses came and went. Doctors spoke in careful tones. Everyone treated her like a caretaker, not a wife. But Ariba stayed. Every morning she read to him, news articles, old novels, even her childhood diary. She told him about the sky, about how the garden bloomed, about the pain she carried quietly. She held his hand when his fingers twitched, wiped his forehead when fever came, and whispered apologies for a marriage neither of them chose. Weeks turned into months. Her family stopped visiting. The money was safe, that was all that mattered. At night, Ariba cried alone, wondering how love could be stolen from her twice, first by force, then by silence. Until, one night, something changed. It was past midnight when Ariba felt it, a faint pressure around her fingers. At first, she thought it was her imagination, born from exhaustion, but then it happened again, weak, real, human. She froze. "Hamza?" she whispered. His fingers moved, just slightly, but enough to shatter the stillness that had ruled their lives. Nurses rushed in, doctors followed, machines beeped louder, and for the first time in 6 months, hope didn't feel like a lie. Recovery was slow, painful. Hamza woke confused, his voice barely a sound, his memories fragmented. When he learned what had happened, about Sana leaving, about Ariba being forced into marriage, his eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry," he whispered one day, struggling to form the words. "You didn't deserve this." Ariba smiled sadly. "Neither did you." As weeks passed, Hamza watched her, the way she adjusted his pillows without being asked, the way she spoke gently to everyone, the way she never complained. He learned the truth not from contracts or documents, but from her actions. When he could finally walk with support, the first place he went wasn't his office, it was the garden where Ariba sat alone each evening. "You could leave," he said softly. "I'll set you free. I won't trap you in a marriage you never chose." Ariba looked at him, surprised. For the first time, someone gave her a choice. "I stayed because I wanted to," she said honestly, not because they told me to. Months later, Sana returned when she heard Hamza had fully recovered. She apologized, she cried, she spoke of fear and regret. Hamza listened quietly, then shook his head. "You left me when I needed me most. She stayed when she owed me nothing." In front of both families, he tore the old contract and made a new declaration, not of business, but of respect. He publicly condemned the forced marriage, apologized to Ariba for what she endured, and then did something no one expected. He proposed. Not with pressure, not with money, with choice. Ariba said yes, not as a sacrifice, but as a woman finally seen. Years later, people spoke of their love like a miracle, but Ariba knew the truth. It wasn't fate that changed everything. It was kindness in silence, patience without reward, and the courage to choose again. If this story touched your heart, like the video and subscribe to Inspiration Stories Box for more powerful, emotional stories.